Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Breeden te maunga, ko Avon te awa, ko Marjorie Roa, ko John Okumātua. No England me Australia Roa, ko Hera Taunga Toku Kāinga Inaine, ko Melissa Aho. No reira, tēnā koutou katoa. Well, thanks everyone for sticking around. I'm the lucky last, have the dubious honour. So thank you for that. And also thank you to Mana Whenua earlier for a really beautiful welcome that we had this morning. So today I'm just going to talk a bit about, 20 minutes over. I'm going to talk about Predator-free 2050 achievements to date, plus the learnings along the way, and a little bit about where to next. Oh, there's that delay thing that other people have found. Oh, here we go. So as you're probably aware, the company Predator-free 2050 Limited in the recent budget announcement is going to be disestablished. So you're probably wondering, why am I talking about the company right now? Because in a few weeks' time we're going to be pretty much no more. But I think it's really important to think about the things that the company was set up to do. And there are three things: driving mainland predator elimination, breakthrough and step change science, and product development. And those things, and agility as well, was another reason that we were set up. And those things are really important and need to keep going, no matter what, whether we get, after we get established. Really important for everyone out there in this space to keep driving those things. Don't take your foot off the pedal. So in this space, predator-free strategy is very much a collaborative one. We're all in it together. Across the country, there's a multitude of organisations and people working in this space, and we absolutely have to. It's only 25 years away to 2050, so we have to act with urgency. We can't kind of sit in our silos and expect it to happen. We absolutely have to work together. And so some of these achievements I'm going to list here I'm going to talk about the Royal We. This is all of those organisations and people out there that have achieved a great amount. It's been a really short space of time since the announcement back in 2016. Took a year or so to kind of really ramp up. So we've really only had about 7 to 8 years of mahi on the ground. So landscape scale projects are starting to provide a bit of a proof of concept of how to do this on the mainland without fences. Marama, as you know, has been declared predator-free, and predator-free Wellington is moving into other parts as well. There's been a massive increase in research and product development by the focus of having a predator-free goal. And a massive increase, again, through the predator-free goal has really galvanised the hearts and minds of New Zealanders, and there's now well over 2,000 community groups out there under the predator-free banner. And of course there's been increased funding as well, over 187 million either come in or been pledged from non-government sources. And predominantly, about 35% of New Zealanders, or a bit more now, are aware of that predator-free is a thing. That doesn't sound like a lot, but when you think of that, there has not been any major campaigns like smoke-free campaigns or anything like that for predator-free, that's actually quite good. But we've still obviously got a long way to go there. There are, under the DOC system, there are now predator-free rangers across the country, and there's also been a great stimulation in sort of career pathways and training. And cost efficiencies have been created as well. So when the goal happened, it thought there would be cost about 32 billion. that's now the thought is now down to about 8, and that's through working together and also obviously through technological advances, etc. Is it going to go? Oh, there we go. So now back to the company. As I mentioned, we were set up to kind of spearhead a few different areas, proof of concept for landscape scale elimination, tool development, and then breakthrough science. Today I'm not going to be talking about the breakthrough science stuff. I don't have time to go over everything, but there's been a huge amount, over 60 or 70 different research projects across the country, from genetics to robotics to all sorts of things. So sorry I can't go into that one today, but you can look on our website. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the landscape scale projects, because that's kind of the area that I have been supporting. So there's 18 across the country. Many of them have been talked about already today, which is really exciting to hear that other people are talking about them as well. They're ground-up projects, but they have to be, because they're sitting within their own communities, so they have to be working with their communities in a partnership and sustainable way. So they're very much ground-up as opposed to kind of top-down. And there are some which are iwi-led, some are community-led, and some are council-led. So we're learning a lot through the different governance structures as well. And currently, they're over, if you combine all of the land together, over sort of 900,000 hectares, of which about 130,000 is currently being defended as eliminated and currently being defended, depending on the target species that the projects have. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about some of the learnings around the community space. As I said earlier, the predator-free goal has really galvanised the nation, and so it's definitely moving a lot of people from more of a passive interest into more of an active interest. And it's bringing in new audiences into the conservation sector as well, which is great. As I mentioned, some of our projects are iwi-led, so there's a huge amount of learning that everyone is learning through a much more holistic way of approaching conservation. So hopefully we'll see more of that as well. And yeah, it's created over 500 jobs so far, and probably counting. And in Miramar now, of course, there will be children born who won't ever get to see a live rat unless they go outside of that space. So that's pretty exciting as well. And onto sort of the biodiversity benefits. Many people again today have been talking about those. So in Miramar again, there's been like a 91% increase in native bird abundance. Waiheke, there's been about a 52% increase, and well over 300%, I think, in Kaka on Waiheke, which is extraordinary. They're doing a stoat elimination there. And then it's also allowed reintroductions into some of these projects as well. And then, of course, by-kill of lots of other pests get hammered along the way as well, which is also a good benefit. So in terms of economic learnings and gains, I mentioned it's definitely brought in a lot of investment from outside of central government. And it's also created a lot of efficiencies, cost efficiencies through tool development and through the approaches. So, for example, again in Wellington, they estimate that the cost of elimination, they've brought that down to about 90% from when they first started out. And that's just through that learning process that Hannah was talking about, learning by doing. being able to do that is really critical. And then, of course, there's been some increased agricultural productivity through particularly things like possum elimination. Something around research, again, we've learnt that learning by doing, adaptive management is absolutely the way to go. We can't wait. As I said, only 25 years to go. We can't kind of wait to learn before we do. So that's been a really good learning for the projects as well. And generally, and again, Hannah spoke to this, it's really, the projects have had to be really agile, and we've had to be able to support them in that way. And because you have to build a huge amount of trust within your project, within your communities. And once you build that trust, then you're able to move really quickly and make decisions really quickly as well, which is really important. Keeping the toolbox open is another thing that projects have found is really critical. So making sure that at each different stage you're using different tools, knowing what those tools do, but also when you might have to throw the kitchen sink when you're getting really close to the end. Another thing that projects have learnt is that some tools work in some places and not in others. So that's another reason to keep that toolbox open. And projects have definitely learnt that there's a different mindset around elimination and suppression, that setting up a suppression project as opposed to elimination project, very different, often using similar tools, just in a really different way. And then, of course, good data management and analysis is really critical as well. So a lot of the projects have really amazing geospatial data management systems. So I'm just going to shift on to tool development. And this is under the products to projects. And there's a number of developers here as well, which is really exciting. So over the years, we've supported a number of developers. Currently, there's 20 new tools, new and improved tools on the market or out there for use. And it's had over $20 million in revenue locally. And they're starting to get a bit of an international revenue stream as well. And there's about 6 more tools to come, hopefully, over the next year or so. And these tools have been specifically developed to tackle elimination under using improved toxin, remote monitoring and communications, and improved trapping and luring. So all bringing that efficiency, cost efficiency, the ability to actually get there in the end. So under better luring, there's the Easy Lure, Critter Solutions Easy Lure, automatic dispenser. Boffa have a long life lures out there, and Zip has a similar automatic dispense lure, although they've just recently changed it up to they call it H2 lure, which is uses a gas canister for better accuracy. And then with remote monitoring, there's the bait sense, so being able to get messages telling you which bait stations are empty or full is really helpful. And again, zero invasive predators have developed an AI thermal camera. This isn't available yet. As you might be aware, there's a lot of Zip projects across the country, so they're utilising all of those at the moment, but at some point they'll get to a point where they can start to manufacture them more widely and sell them. And then there's the Critter Solutions AI thermal triggered camera. This is just about to be trialled in some of the landscape scale projects that I talked about. So really excited to see what that can do. Remote communications, again, the Zero Invasive Predators Outpost, which a lot of you are probably already aware of. Encounter Solutions have been working on a automatic or remote locking for cage traps and leg hold traps, and also have a microchip reader, which was funded through Auckland Council. So that's and then there's Critter Solutions FlexiComms, also available soon, that can kind of go on any device and can utilise whichever type of comms that you're keen on, whether it's cellular or direct to satellite, etc. And then self-resetting traps. So NZ Auto traps, 80-20s, they're absolutely everywhere now. We have them here today. Huge amount of work's gone into bringing them into a space, and now they're just everywhere and everyone loves them. Good Nature supported them to do some work to build into the kind of more urban market. And then this Hammer Force, which will be available soon, also is using, instead of using a gas canister, it's just using compressed air, which is quite exciting too. So that's quite low tech, but really, really cool once it gets on the market too. And then high interaction rate traps. So you've probably heard of the Cacophony trap, which is very open architecture. And then Zip with their zip-in traps, and then Critter Solutions have their AI kill trap. It's now NAWAC approved for all target species, and we're just about to trial this in some of the landscape scale projects. And then there's a bit of toxin work going on as well. Zip again doing the registration for the toxic rodents. And Vico have been working on Spitfire technology, so the possum Spitfire. Again, that's going to be trialled soon in some of the landscape scale projects. And then Normamide paste bait is also about to be trialled in some of the landscape scale projects. So Normamide being a specific to rats, which is pretty exciting. And then some best practice guides as well. So remote comms best practice, a lot of projects have struggled with getting their remote comms set up and working really well. So there's now a best practice guide for that. And then Korehaha Whakahau have been working on embedding mātauranga into the projects as well. So currently we're working on a number of things. All of these things, I don't know if you're aware, but if you're worried, all of the contracts will be transferred over to the department. So all of the work is safe and it will be transferred over. So currently working on the Stoat Spitfire as a 1080 gel. Sounds like, even though I'm the last one, surely I get a little bit more time. But as you can see, there's a list of things that we are working on there, including the permission streamlining work that Hannah just talked about. Going forward, obviously, we need to build a really good business case to be able to launch by 2030 to make sure we hit 2050. And those are some of the models that are being looked at, but I imagine it will probably end up being a mixture of those, depending on where you are. And ngā mihi nui kia koutou. All of this work, as I said at the beginning, it's all a huge collaboration. We've worked with all of these people and more, and it's been an absolute privilege helping enable some of this great mahi that's been happening at a really short time. We need to remember that since this all kicked off, and a lot has been achieved. So thank you.